Alright, so I just wanted to take a few seconds, or probably minutes, to go over some of the UTM stuff, how I got the idea, where it went to, where we are today, and then some of the options that we offer and why we offer those particular options. So the UTM in this case stands for umbrella torch mount. I believe that the torch mount, to the best of my knowledge, after talking with several people, including Rich Mason of Darcy, is that he was the one that innovated it by running the light in a upward manner on the back of the helmet to illuminate a room. That frees up both of your hands to do hands-on stuff. You know, if you're running a dual light with white light or infrared, so if you're still in white light or if you're in infrared, you know, you still get that illumination, and you're not having to fumble around looking for light switches, and you can conduct your searches and keep your, you know, whatever you need to do. So a friend of mine put a post out on one of the groups that I'm in, and he said, "Hey man, somebody needs to help me figure out how to mount this, because with these Unity tactical marks, he couldn't roll his hearing protection back, because he was running his light right here on this arc rail, and he wanted to be able to roll his hearing protection back and still be able to use that that light." So he said, "Hey, you know, what do you got? Anybody got something out there they can help me with?" And so I looked at it and I said, "Oh man, that should be pretty simple. I can't imagine why it would be hard." And this right here was my first try at this. As you can see, it was using the mounting bolt for the arc rail, and you know, simple. Tried to keep it as simple as possible because that's what you want. But in this particular case, it still was not enough to keep it out of the way when you rolled your hearing protection back. So I thought, okay, so I need to come off of this some to give it a little more room to be able to clear that hearing protection as it was rolled back. So this was the first or the second version of it. And you know, this is nothing. Just about everything you see here are cheap prototypes. None of these are the production models. These are all just mild steel. We're using stainless steel for the production models. So you know, this made much more sense, and this moved it back, and then still it allowed it to come up front to be able, so if you had counterweights, you could still get your counterweights involved and still have your light, be able to light your mount. We are using the Magpul Mo 5 slot rails, so that you can mount that light as low or as high as you need. So if you have a counterweight, you need to mount it a little higher, that's cool. Or if you don't want to stick it out and you're not running a thick counterweight, like this one here is a small ELG, you know, you could run that light as low as possible on this last rail, and you know, and not have your light sticking up very high. So you know, it gives you those mounting options. So we went through several different types, and then you know, some of the things I started thinking about as we was doing this, I was like, hey, what about M-LOK? You can see that beautiful hand cut version of M-LOK that I did there. You know, I thought, okay, with M-LOK, you know, maybe that'd give us the option of doing offering more options. And in the end game it did, but it's different. This is just a standard one, you know, Velcro on both sides, so that, you know, when you're mounting these, you know, normally you have your Velcro on the back. It helps there. You go through your mounting hole, and it helps keep that keeps that from moving. So after a little thinking, I started thinking about this hole pattern. This hole pattern here is designed for this 5 rail M section. And I thought, hey, okay, what if we made some changes in that hole pattern? Could we accommodate some more lights? Well, it turns out that if we elongated one end of that hole pattern, that we actually could. The Scout, the M300 Scout lights, we can now mount those directly. So, so with the Scout lights, you have two options. You can use the standard, drawing a blank, M19 attachments that would go onto the Mo rails, and nothing wrong with that, except it's it's going to push you out about 3/16 of an inch, maybe a little more. Versus if you go direct mount, you're closer to your helmet, so it's less snag hazard and so forth. And granted, it's not much weight, but weight is weight, and any weight you can save on your helmet, we all know that's the thing to do. So hey, so we open that up. So then the next opportunity I got to looking at, and I know this is not something that a lot of people use, but these little VIP lights, these little VIP strobes, they will also fit that same pattern. They do take an adapter, and what I'm using for an adapter in this case is just a piece of Codex that's cut out, and all that does is keep the VIP from being stuck at an angle. Now, does it have to have it? No, but it just makes it, I think, a better fit. And when we actually start offering those, the adapter, the bolts, because these bolts will be, these are some pretty special bolts that you have to have. So, I'll supply all that with the kit. And so then that sort of brings us to, what do we offer? So right now, our main offering is for the arc rail, any arc rail applications. So what we have is the UTM/S. So that with that particular model, you're getting two things. It's going to come equipped like this. Now this one doesn't have the Velcro on the front and the back, but your production model will. It will come equipped with the rail installed, and it will also come with two shorter 8/32 screws, so that if you want to use this for the Scout, and that's what the S stands for, then you take off the rail, and now you can use these two screws to directly attach. Thought I had a Scout light here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. You can use these two screws to directly attach this Scout light to your mount. Now, they are a little shorter than the screws that are supplied for the Mo 5-slot rails, and that's why I supply those with the kit. And I mean, they're nothing special. They're just 8/32. What are the lengths on them? I want to say they're 1/4 inch. I'll try to add that in the comment section after I post this. So if you lose them, it's not like you got to go track down some serious stuff. You can go to Amazon, pick them up, or some of your better local hardware stores. You're not going to find any hexes like this at Home Depot and stuff. But your better home hardware stores you might, but Amazon's probably your best bet. So that way now you got your Scout mount directly mounted, and if you didn't do that route, then you can, whatever pistol light that you wanted to add on there can go straight on to your rail, tighten it down. And I like these little enforced lights for this because, hey, they're cheap. I've never liked them as a weapon light because even on this one you can tell it's already cracked. Usually the head cracks, but the mounting is cracked on this one. But the great thing about this one is it's IR and white. So if I still want to stay under IR, that's great, or if I want to go to white light, I can. And so it gives you those options. But there's excuse me, any type of weapon light that you want to mount on there that takes that particular mounting situation, go for it. That's no big deal. Now let's move on to the M-LOT version. So the UTM M-LOT version is pretty easy. This is all you get with the mount is just the M-LOT. Paratus 46 is actually carrying these for me. He's doing the shipping and the ordering or the selling of them. So check him out. I think it's paratus46.net. I'll also put a link to that. He's also supposed to carry a couple of these kinetic QD mounts. These are QD M-LOK mounts. Pretty cool little devices. Unfortunately, they're not cheap. So I don't see this being sold a lot, but it is an option. And you know, once I played around with it, it works pretty good. It's on the back of the helmet. I can where'd my screwdriver go? Always losing something here. I had a screwdriver somewhere. Here we go. All right, so you know, once it's connected to the light, usually the bottom one is already out, and that way you can use it to find itself into the M-LOK, and then as it comes into a little pressure, it pops up to the top one, and now your rock and roll, it's on there. It's not going to come off. But you know, you want to use this handheld for some reason, you know, whatever reason, no telling. It's very simple, one-handed. You push that button down, it rolls out, and now you have your light QD mounted. You get finished with what it is, you want to put it back where it belongs, stick it back on there, pop it in place, boom, there you go, life is good. So I don't think he has them listed. I think you gotta message him if you want the QD mount. And like I said, I think he's supposed to carry these Kinetics QD M-LOK mounts. So you would have to pick up the UTM QD and the Kinetic in order to make those two work. The next thing I've started working on is the Team Windy. This is the first beauty. Now this actually I lied. I think this was the first one I cut out of paper and then cut it out of soft steel, and it just gave me an idea of, hey, you know, what can we do? Will it work? How will it work? And so forth. This one, I cut it and rewelded, shortened, and probably still going to make some more. I'm not ready for production on this. This is still just testing and so forth. And then this is, you know, what it will look like. Without that being said, like I said, there still may be some more changes, but this is what it will look like. And you know, here's one with a VIP strobe mounted on it. Now normally I'm making these for the left hand side of the helmet. You know, if you want something for the right hand side of the helmet, I can do that. I can offer that. I'll make a few of those here and there, but it's easier to stock them for one side. And so far most of the people that I've talked to have wanted it on the left side of the helmet. So, you know, you could be that oddball. I'm gonna blame it on you for that. But I'll try to meet whatever I can, you know, because at the end of the day, when I started this, it was never as to try to be rich, to make money or anything along that lines. It was to help a couple of friends out. Some more friends seen it and they said, hey man, that's cool, I want one. And so I started exploring ways, you know, how can I make this without spending tons of time, you know, because at the end of the day, my time is important. I have a full-time job, and this is definitely not it. I don't see this ever taking over that full-time job. It'd be great if it did, but just don't see that happening. So started coming up with ways to make it happen. So reached out to some people. So right now what they are is they're cut out in a water jet. This is pretty much how I get them back now. Takes minimal prep work for me, just really grinding down a few little small pieces that the water jet does not take care of, and then get them over to the coating guy, let him Cerakote them, and once he gets them back to me, then all I have to do is add the Velcro and the Magpul 5-slot Mo panels, and then box them up and get them over to Paratus 46. My boy Michael Ray over there, great guy. If you don't know him, check him out. He's super good guy over in Oklahoma. He's doing great work over there. He hosts people, several things. Always hosting training, always learning. He's definitely a great guy. So a lot of the questions I get are, hey, how do you mount them? Where do you mount them? So forth. So I have two different ways that I mount them. It just depends. If I am running a helmet cover, I generally mount it on top of the screw. The reason I do that is generally you have your Velcro on the bottom of your helmet that's already under there, so that pushes that helmet cover up higher, and so it makes that just a little, I think it makes it easier for that application. So in this case, I'm just going to mount this one back up here. So clicks it on there, it makes contact to the Velcro of the cover, and then I can come back in with a screw, get it back in there. If I can line this up on camera, you know, it never fails when you're trying to do something on camera that you won't be able to line it up and hit it right. So we'll see what we can do here. It's close, but yeah, there we go. It's finally getting in there. All right. So that works. You know, nothing wrong with it being on the outside. Generally, if you're not running a helmet cover, then you can run it underneath. Now you can also run it on the top without a helmet cover. I'm not saying you have to. That's just how my best practice that I use. The best thing is however you feel comfortable doing it, and you know, this thing's not moving anywhere. You know, you get some good with the Magpul adapter on there. You know, like I said, you get your vertical adjustments up and down, and as you can see on this one, it's got the VIP on there also, the VIP strobe. I think this one's an IR, so you can't really see it, but just another option to mount the strobes. I don't like the factory options that they have on them, and some of the Velcro ones work good. I'm not saying they don't, but you know, you're doing a bunch of running, gunning, running through stuff, it's possible to lose them. And I know these things aren't as expensive as they used to be, but I don't want to lose anything. So just anyway, yeah, and this helmet has got a lot of stuff on it, but it's more to show options versus an actual usability helmet. You know, I do run this though Op4, and once again, you know, I use that when people ask questions to be able to show them why and so forth along the line. So it's not like I'm trying to say, hey, this is your helmet setup. I think those are very personal to how, you know, how much weight you want to carry, what type of night vision you're going to be running, what type of comm systems you're going to be running, and what type of lighting systems you're going to be running. But as you can tell, with this in place, with the mark system, it's easy to run these back completely, not in the way of your lights, not sitting there messing with your marks. Marks can come back down, and you know, life is good. I definitely love these Unity marks. The amount of pressure that they put on your ears is awesome, especially shooting rifle stuff. You know, that the pelters that I use, and I know they were not fakes, they were originals, but after a while they wear out and would always kick off on my shooting side ear. That's why I went to the marks, and I know there's even better ones out there today. So everybody's always improving. So that's just sort of a 101 view of the UTM, the umbrella torch mount. And once again, I give full credit to I'm not quite sure how to say it, not the design, but the application of running a vertical light on the back of your helmet to illuminate rooms, to Rich Mason out at Darcy. And if you don't know who Darcy is, Direct Action Resource Center. If you don't know who those guys are, do yourself a favor, look them up on Facebook. Direct Action Resource Center, Darcy for short, DARC. And try to get your department to get you down there for some training. And if you can't get your department down there for training, save yourself some bucks, get down there, get you some training, and I guarantee you, you will never regret it. The amount of people that you will train with, the caliber of people that Rich uses, between Rich, Travis, and his other instructors, it will be a week of pure hell that you will love every second of. So anyway, that's enough of that. Just wanted to sort of put this out here, how I got to where it was, what it is, what it's supposed to do. And you know, if you want some, check out paratus46.net and pick a couple up. Show them to your friends. If they want some, you know, let them know. And if you totally hate the idea, you get it, you hate it, you don't like it, whatever, send me an email. Patrick@shooters101.com. PATRICK@SHOOTERS101.com. And I will give you your money back. You don't have to worry about going to Paratus 46, because if you don't like it, ultimately means that ultimately means I failed, and I don't want that to happen. And I want this to try to be an asset to your kit, an asset to your job. And if it helps you, that's awesome. And if it's not, and it's something you don't like, let me know. I'll make it right. Anyway, if you have any more questions for me, I'll probably post this on YouTube for the length of the video, and then we'll post a few snippets on Facebook and Instagram with some links to it over on YouTube. We'll go from there. Anyway, I appreciate it. John Wells is my John Wells _101 is my Instagram, and John Wells is my Facebook. So, you know, message me. Feel free to message me there, and I'll answer questions as best I can. All right, guys, y'all have a great day. Don't forget that it is already Memorial Day. Take a few minutes, reflect. Great people throughout our history have died to make this country what it is. They are still dying for our freedoms to represent our country. Whether you think the war is right or not, you know, that's not what it's about. It's about these guys are out there on the line doing their job, and some of them are not going to come home. Also, remember your civilian contractors. You know, civilians have died in this great country many a time over in the acts of trying to create liberty and freedoms for the rest of us to enjoy. Memorial Day to me is a day to remember all of these people that have died, not just our soldiers. I'm not saying that our soldiers aren't worth it. I'm just saying that every person that has ever died for this country and the freedoms that we hold, I think we need to take a minute out, or 2, 3, or 4, and I think we ought to do it every day and be blessed and pray and give them thanks for the sacrifices that they laid down so that we have this great nation that we have. I think I've traveled a lot around the world, not as much as probably a lot of you have, but I've seen enough shitholes in the world to know that we are living in the greatest country in the world, and people are fighting to get into our country every day. And you know, they don't do that because because we are a shitty place. They're doing that because they want the same opportunities that a lot of us were lucky enough and privileged enough to be born here and to have the title of American citizen. So take that time tomorrow to think about it, reflect about it. I know some people have people that they have lost recently in the war. Luckily, my military time was in civilian or in non-war time, and luckily I have not lost anybody in the war, any of my friends that I served with, and I'm blessed to be able to say that, because I know a lot of you guys out there are not. So anyway, just take that time to remember that, and let's go from there. God bless America, and freedom on.